The Werewolf by Night first appeared in Marvel Spotlight number 2 in 1972. The beast prowled the streets of downtown Los Angeles and was attacked by a mugger. The criminal clearly bit off more than he could chew, and the werewolf killed him before being chased off by the gunshots of the LAPD. The following morning, Jack Russell awoke on his 18th birthday. The vague memories of the previous night stung his brain like a lingering nightmare, but the scar on his arm where the cop's bullet had struck the wolf suggested it was more than just a dream. Before he could fully comprehend the ramifications, Jack's mother called him down for breakfast, and we meet his family. Jack's real father had died when he was too young to remember, but his mother Laura had been married to Philip Russell long enough that Jack and his sister Lissa had taken his last name. Despite that, Philip's chauffeur Max Grant was verbally abusive towards Laura, and Philip refused to fire him. That evening at Jack's 18th birthday party, he began to feel the terrifying transformation begin as the full moon rose into the night sky. Running outside, Jack bolted past Grant, who was working on the car, and escaped unseen before succumbing to the monstrous change. Seeking cover in an abandoned house, the transformed Jack encountered a feral wolf, and the two engaged in bestial combat, with Jack emerging as the victor. Wandering off, Jack eventually collapsed on the beach near his house, where the morning sun returned him to human form before he was found by his stepfather. Unfortunately, after being brought inside, Jack learned more bad news. While out searching for him the previous night, Jack's mother lost control of her car and was now in critical condition. Jack was understandably upset, so the doctor administered a sedative to calm him down. But before he lost consciousness, he overheard his stepfather on the phone with Grant, claiming to have his money. Jack awakened later that afternoon and quickly headed to the hospital to visit his injured mother, although due to her severe condition, he had to sneak into her room. Knowing her time was short, Laura Russell decided to tell her son about his real father. The two met in a Baltic state while Laura was traveling abroad. From their union, baby Jacob was born, and after 2 years of idyllic life in their family castle, his sister Lissa was on the way. But during this time, every month on the 3 nights surrounding the full moon, Jack Russell's father would sequester himself away, remaining locked in a solitary tower. That was until one fateful night when an errant lightning bolt struck the tower, tearing open the window and freeing the beast within. After the monster claimed one victim, the townsfolk mobilized. They hunted and gunned down the werewolf with silver bullets, discovering his identity in the process. After learning the truth, Laura studied her husband's tomes and discovered that the curse he bore was a hereditary one, which may manifest on her children's 18th birthdays. As the life began to fade from Laura Russell's eyes, she told her son that Philip was a good man and made Jack swear never to raise a hand against him. Then, on the 3rd night of the full moon, as his mother passed away, Jack began his transformation yet again. In the final moments before Jack lost his senses to the beast, his rational mind put the pieces together, and he remembered the man who tampered with the engine of the family car the night of the accident. The man who was paying him. The 2 men who must have been responsible for his mother's death. Philip and Grant. The names stinging in his mind, the Wolfman struck out into the night, hunting a man for reasons he no longer understood. The beast found Grant first, the shattered remnants of his human mind thirsting for revenge. The werewolf leapt onto the man, and the two fought a heated battle, with Grant assuming the beast was a masked assassin sent by Philip Russell to avoid paying him. Grant proved himself to be formidable as he initially gained the upper hand over his supernatural opponent, but the werewolf would not be easily defeated and began to overpower the man. It was then that Grant began to realize the nature of the monster he faced. He attempted to flee, but it was too late. The were-beast struck and ripped the man to shreds in a dark corner. It was shortly after that Philip arrived on the scene with Grant's money. Hiding in the shadows, Jack prepared to strike, but his mother's dying wishes bubbled to the surface of his memories. Philip Russell drove off into the night, and the werewolf howled to the moon in helpless rage. While Jack continued to keep his promise not to hurt his stepfather, Philip eventually confronted him when he learned that he blamed him for his mother's death. Philip revealed that he and Jack's father, Gregory Rusoff, were actually brothers. Philip, for some reason, was spared the werewolf's curse. After Gregory and Laura married, Philip moved to the United States and changed his last name from Rusoff to Russell. And then, after Gregory's death, Laura, already having been close with him, went to Philip, and the two eventually married. It's also revealed that a group known as the Committee had discovered Jack's lycanthropic lineage and had threatened to reveal their secret if they weren't paid a hefty ransom. When Philip went back on the agreement, canceling the payment, the Committee had Laura killed. This would mean that Grant was actually working for the Committee, not Philip, and the money Philip intended to pay him was actually a ransom in order to protect his adopted children. And so while Philip was in a way partly responsible for Laura's death due to his initial refusal to pay the ransom, he and Jack were finally able to reconcile. And so that's the origin of the Werewolf by Night. If you liked this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more marvelous content. As always, the issues referenced in this video are listed in the description below if you would like to read them for yourself. While you're down there, check out the links to some of my social media feeds, like my Tumblr, which shares awesome art every day. So until next time, true believers, Excelsior!